Do it.
Yo, here we go. What's up? Look who we've got today. Look who we've got today, everyone. How you doing? Welcome, everyone in the chat, to Season 2, Episode 9 of the VR Link, your weekly podcast where you can find us live every Wednesday on YouTube, Facebook, normally Twitter, but it's not working today, Twitch at 7 p.m. BST, 2 p.m. EST, and 11 a.m. PT. On this show, we discuss the latest news, games, and goings-on in virtual reality. My name's GT from Gamertag VR, and alongside me, each and every week, is Matt from BMF.
Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well and are excited for today's show. I know I am.
Yeah, I really am as well. And for this week's special episode, we have two amazing guests representing First Contact Entertainment to talk about everything Solaris Offworld Combat. We have Shabs and the legendary PSVR Frank. How you doing, guys?
Hey, I mean, come on. I keep having a project.
I mean,
Thank you.
come on. Okay. For the audiophiles amongst you, you can follow the show and listen again on Spotify, Apple, and Anchor. Just search the VR Link podcast, or you can use the links in our descriptions. And I'd like to thank the legendary patrons and channel members whose names are listed below each and every week. If you enjoy the show and you enjoy what you see, please consider joining them and supporting what we have going on here. And we also have a massive growing community Discord. You'll find a link to that in the description as well. So let's dive right into the main event and talk everything Solaris Offworld Combat. Hopefully we can talk about the design of the game, the influences. And after playing it, man, I've got so many questions. I'm sure the chat have as well. So yeah, let's just dive right into this. Who wants to lead out with this?
So Solaris is our latest game coming out this week, tomorrow, in fact.
That's
so
crazy.
we have a 4v4 online shooter for Oculus Rift S and the old Rift and Quest. And so we also have crossplay. So expect that tomorrow. If you own a Quest, you can play with your friends across the way on a Rift, and you can plug in a link and play from your PC with the Quest.
It's cross-buy as well, isn't it?
It's crossplay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 4v4 shooter in the sci-fi universe, and the world of Solaris is ultimately the latest and newest sport. All sports have sort of died down. Football doesn't exist in this future. So we have just the one sport that all athlons, what we call our athletes, play, and it's the world of Solaris. It's arena combat. And the way you play is you wear your suit, you have your helmet, you log in by placing the helmet on your head, and you jack into the system and you go into what we have as our hollow field. And these arenas fabricate themselves, and you're pitted against the four enemies, and you're looking to get first place.
It is.
So you play a 5-minute round, and
For me, when I played it, it was like non-stop. And that's what there was hardly any downtime. And I didn't even realise how many matches we played within an hour. It was, to be honest, the complete opposite of Firewall. It was like, damn, dude, I am on the grid all the time. It's super fast-paced. I love the design of it. Obviously, I got to play with Matt as well. What were your thoughts on the game, Matt?
I was just going to say before you said that, it is definitely a fast-paced shooter. And I think that it really benefits from that because it's the first really official game on the Quest that's like this, that allows for fast-paced multiplayer combat. And also, as we had mentioned a little bit ago, it's not it uses like virtual reality technology essentially in the game, so it's not ultra bloody violence.
No, that's
so
right.
I think that it makes it unique, but also not only does it make it friendly for more family friendly as far as that goes, but it also makes it so the focus is on the combat and on how frenetic and crazy it gets instead of focused on all the violence and gore.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the casual approach, because our game is easy to pick up and play and have fun with, and it's lighthearted in the sense that there's minimum amount of violence. I mean, you're playing against pixel and virtual space. The whole world that you're playing in is simulated. So that's definitely helpful for that. And then some people also, even in our studio, play on a esport level. So you have both spectrums, and there's going to be an in-between there, but it offers that easy to pick up to play. But over time, you're going to find yourself sliding off of a second-story balcony drop into a control point, drop a barricade, shoot over it, and take it over with just yourself, and then have your team converge. But it is a team-based game. So we also have that going for us in the sense that being casual and friendly, we have communication. We encourage it so to strategize and to respawn after getting taken out and ejected, that you you re-strategize what you do. Do I get an armor and a rocket launcher before engaging the control point, or do I take my chances?
One thing that I noticed, like what you're just saying, you kind of get used to the fast pace. Even just the limited time that I played it, I was running off the side of a balcony and twisting around and turning, and as I was falling, firing at the people below me. And I loved one time I grabbed one of the grenade launcher type weapons, and I jumped out from behind cover and I just hit 3 people right in the head, and almost one after the other, and just awesome. Completely. It was just it feels really cool. It reminds me a lot of the games from when I was younger, like Quake or Unreal Tournament, that style of gameplay. Fast, frenetic, you run over points to pick up weapons. I mean, it's very that kind of game. And I like that because that's something that I think's been missing, at least for me, in this kind of VR game for a while.
There's an energy to this. There's an energy. Yeah. Like when I was playing it, I just constantly wanted to keep playing more. And I was begging Frank, I was like, dude, don't go offline. Don't stop the session. I know it's business, but dude. And he was like, yeah, we got to go GT. See you later. And I was like, no, I want to keep playing. And that's lovely to experience as like doing this content thing. You play a lot of games and you do a lot of games as well on the side. Like you might not film them all because some of them they're not ready, or you just don't. I don't necessarily play games that I don't feel passionate about or enjoy. I just don't see the point. This, when I was playing it, I was like, I cannot wait to share this. I cannot wait for other people to experience it. Let's talk about some weapons. The pistol. Yeah. Before I get into it, headshots. Dude, the headshots are satisfying. There's like a headshot. You've even got the noise. You've got like this hit marker noise to go along with it. And I believe Frank said, when we was doing okay on one of them, he said it's a multiplier. A headshot multiplier kicks in. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, correct. So expect to take down your opponent a lot quicker with headshots. There is armor. So players can run around and grab armor. So a single headshot isn't always the case. Yeah. So if it does happen, you do get that satisfying feedback alongside visual, audio, even haptic with your controller rumble. And it just feels good. And it's always funny when you mention that, because even when I get taken out and ejected from the arena, there's always a good reason why. And I have to think while I'm getting put into this purgatory state, and respawn timer finishes and I'm put back into the arena, I'm thinking about how do I avoid what just happened. It's usually not something I couldn't do. It's just something I didn't do. So that's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the weapons, you start out with a pistol. Everybody's on the same playing field. And that's a great nature of the game. It's nobody has an upper hand at the very start of the match. It's up to you as to what you choose with your time. Do I go to the control point right off the start spawn, or do I go after some weaponry and show up with a big game? So that's going to be something we'll keep an eye on too, because players are going to be really good with the pistol. Don't expect the rocket launcher to really take out your opponent. If I'm dodging and bobbing, weaving your rocket launcher projectiles or sliding underneath them, you might just get taken out by a gunslinger pistol shot.
So what are the variety of weapons available in this game?
So yeah, we have you start with a pistol, and we have several pickups at launch. So you have 3 weapons: rifle, rocket launcher, and grenade launcher. Yeah. And it's important to note there's going to be more. So expect to see our weapon count increase, and we'll never be charging for a new weapon. So it'll be free for everybody.
Excellent.
So you have a rifle. It's a pulse rifle. It shoots in succession. It's very quick.
Yeah.
It could be used in different ways as well. And it overheats. So if you end up holding down and spraying and praying, expect it to stop firing and to take some time to cool down.
Yeah.
There's no reloads. So globally across our weapon sets, we don't have any reloads. It's all based off of an overheat mechanism or a finite ammo count. Mm-hmm. So we have the rifle, we have the grenade launcher, which, man, sometimes I see people use it in our playtest recently, and I'm like, how the heck did you get that kill? And I end up watching them use their grenade launcher in ways I never expected. So you can use your grenade launcher to do a straight-on impact hit, or you can use the environment to your advantage and bank shot off of a ceiling and a side panel.
It's got a detonator button as well, isn't it? Like, is that the one with
it does.
Yeah, I didn't know that till bloody afterwards. I was like, oh.
Yeah, we'll be doing some streams this week with Frank to even explain weapons while even showcasing it, and I'm sure hopefully others do as well.
Nice.
Because the alt fire does exist on the grenade launcher. It's it's a skill-based mechanism. So it's, do I detonate early or do I detonate later after projectiles bounced and settled? You can also shoot multiple projectiles to detonate, but it means you have not attacked the enemy until both of them are in the position where you want to detonate. So
nice.
The grenade launcher is a blast. You can do bounces off of the environments, get multiple kills. It's very helpful to clear a control point when you have multiple opponents inside. Then there's the rocket launcher, which if everybody's familiar with any rocket launcher in an arena-based game, they're fast, they're direct, and they surprise you.
Yeah. That's the thing. I need to learn the maps, dude. And it was so fast and hectic. I genuinely didn't feel like I had time. It was like, got to get to that point. It's headquarters style game mode at the moment, isn't it? Pretty much, as I understand it.
It's like a king of the hill control point.
Yeah.
A centralized location that moves randomly in the environment after the first middle position. So it's an even plane for both attempts on both sides.
Yeah.
But it moves around randomly after X amount of time. But yeah, just the rocket launcher is a direct hit. You could jump off of a balcony, shoot before you land, and basically with the splash damage clear that area.
Nice.
But that's our weapon sets. But we'll be adding more, and we'll be keeping an eye on which ones people like. I would love to hear more feedback from everybody, you guys and your viewers, to tell us what works with you and what doesn't. And,
yeah.
It's a live game. We'll be making changes and adding.
I was just going to say, like, during the playtest as well, like, Frank was obviously there, like, holding our hands and stuff, and he was like open to suggestions straight away, because it sounds like this game's going to evolve. It comes out now and then it's going to evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's almost like you think of a real sports organization now. I mean, you have a players organization, right?
Yep.
Our player organization's you guys. You're going to play the game. You're going to identify, man, this doesn't work to my liking, and maybe there's something we can look at afterwards, whether it's a good idea. Hey, it'd be cool if you guys added this. Hey, that would be cool. Let's dive in. And if it helps the fun factor, the gameplay, and it still has that competitive nature to it, then it's certainly something we're going to consider, because that's as the developers, we're the organization that needs to hear that association, which is the players, the consumers, and basically athletes. Everyone's an athlete. If you think about it, you're all putting your headsets on, you're jacking into the game, and you're playing a team-based combat scenario similar to our in-game environment. That's what's so cool about the overall art style and just the concept of what we put into Solaris.
Yeah, it's definitely gone into that gaming grid kind of thing of Tron. And I was saying that because it feels like you get de-resed when you die. It felt that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm to dive into that. Sorry, I'm just really excited to talk about the game. But
no, mate, this is your time,
yeah, no,
dude.
This is good. This is what we want.
Do it.
Yeah, please.
To that portion of the game. You never really get killed, right? I mean, the concept of getting taken out while in the arena to win the match, you get de-resed, you get ejected from the simulation and put in this place, almost like a penalty box for X amount of time. And you have to wait in order to get back in. And you're still in the game. You don't get necessarily taken out. In fact, we take you deeper into our lore, and that's what's exciting about just the overall game loop. And you're saying too, the session we had with you guys earlier, when you finish a match, there's the podium sequence, which we want to celebrate the victor and explain how that happened, who did the most in terms of helping their team win.
Yeah,
it's not always about the kills. It's about, did I take the objective and how long did I stay in that objective for? But we do want to have a celebration moment, but then quickly you kind of don't want to celebrate too much. You want a rematch if you've lost. So we have a rematch counter that plays out. And then once that ends, you're back into a match. And I'd like to actually really commend our team, just give them a good salute, because the load times, how quickly we're able to travel in and out for being on the Quest is remarkable. And I hope people take notice of that, because that takes hard work. It's not an easy thing to do.
I really noticed that. And that was one thing that I really liked, was how immediate it felt. The match ends, and it felt like it was just a next round more than it was going from another match into another match. So, you've got a group of great group of 8 people playing, and you want to keep going. Instead of having to back out into a lobby and everybody readies up, you bounce out, see the stats essentially of how people did, and then you're right back into it within a very short amount of time. And I think that is one of the ways that this game is going to keep people in the game, because for me, when I'm out in a lobby, I'm thinking, do I really want to play another one? But when you've got a game like this and you're like right back in within like 15 seconds or something, you're like, yes, let's keep going.
There's a sort of a, I don't want to say mantra, but there's always that essence after a round in our studio, even working from home. It's always a one more round, and it could be late in the night, and we're just like, no, one more round, like let's do this. And,
it's got that. It's definitely got that, and that's what I loved about it. Honestly, it was quite a rush to play. That's what it felt like to me, and you know, it's exciting. It's an exciting game to play. Let's quickly talk about what you do. So you've got basically your shooting hand, which you can two-hand a weapon, but I believe there is no penalty difference between single-hand a weapon or two-hand a weapon. So you then use your offhand for the power-ups. I guess you could call them. What do you want to call them?
Yeah, so we decided to do a one-handed weapon system for various reasons. I mean, there's comfort, there's simplicity, and just overall feels good. I mean, that's part of the comfort, but having your left stick be your navigating stick. If you ripped apart a traditional gamepad controller, I mean, that's what Oculus has essentially done. And we want to leverage that familiarity that players have. And it's not always you want to keep your left-hand arm up during a session, and it could get tired. I mean, it's a physical game in a sense. You could still play sitting down. But we aim to have longer sessions of play and create a simpler, streamlined feeling for the game.
Excellent.
So
I'm glad
you handle your Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it, man. Go for it. Go on. I'll button in a minute.
Yeah, so you handle your utilities with the left controller, and aim with your right in order to plant it. That works well with us, and especially when I describe moments where you could jump off of a second story, plant a barricade cover, and shoot over the top of it. It happens very quickly. And one thing I'd like to also commend is our design team and just the simplicity and the approach that has players putting the headset on, and before we're halfway into describing how to run around and how to slide, they're doing it. I can't even finish my sentence. So that tells me something about how quickly people can jump in and enjoy the game and just not get held up by the cumbersome learning curve of what are the controls. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
So I will touch base on the game modes because I forgot to mention the overall game mode that we have, Control Point. And it's a game mode we have where like I said, the point starts out in the middle of every map, and that's to keep that equalized base of the start spawns. And then from there, the control point moves to various locations of the arena. So you'll have to get used to the maps and the arenas and the different approaches of using teleporters.
Just to say, one of the things you did with that, I did not expect. I thought the game had because we was in an alpha, I believe Frank said. There was one point where it was like the next point is 550 meters away. And I was like, this can't be. Me and Matt were standing there running around like, and I said to him, dude, this must be broken. It can't be. And then someone was like, no, dude, you got to teleport to that other, basically that other gaming grid, and you move around. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good way to traverse our maps. Frank, you can talk about teleporters and ways you've used them to take me out, but
Oh, the teleporters are great. Yeah. They make it so you can get from A to B and B to C and C to D really easily. And the design team, I want to say give them a high five for this one. You can there's always like a shape on the teleporter, and it'll match normally with the control point that you're headed towards. So you'll see like a triangle shaped control point, you go through the triangle shaped teleporter, and it makes it very easy. And you'll see like triangles on the walls while you're in that area too. They did a really good job of like pulling you through, pulling you in, and just jumping through a teleporter feels really cool. There's this nice effect that happens on screen, and you kind of keep your speed as you're going through. So sometimes you'll like launch through shooting, and like Shabs was saying, sometimes you will launch through, and smarter teams know which teleporters eventually, and this is more the esports when we get people that really get into it, they know where people are probably going to start coming from, so they'll place like a proximity mine right outside the teleporter, so when that other team comes through, they just blow up immediately. You know what I mean? It's game over. Or they'll have a shield right there that they have to shoot through to kind of slow them down for a sec. There's a lot of fun ways to like mess with the team once you bring it to that next level, and we're really excited to see all of that. But yeah, the teleporters are fun. It's not teleportation like you think of in VR games. No. It's like a straight up like teleporter. But yeah, it's cool.
One of the other cool. So before go on, sorry, if everyone wants to talk.
No, please, GT, go.
I was going to say, one of the things I noticed when, and I didn't necessarily notice it the first time I played it, it was when I watched my video back, the footsteps. They literally, you feel like you've got true momentum. Like, you feel like you are charging down those hallways because of that little effect of your feet hitting the floor. I thought that was really cool. Before I want to touch on sound. Before I go any further, Lincoln Clay, thank you ever so much for the donation. He says, Frank, the pioneer and real godfather of PSVR.
Lincoln, thank you for hooking up GT. He's a great guy. He deserves it, 100%.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about sound design. This is a big thing. So yeah, just tell us about this.
Yeah. So Dylan Allen, he's our sound designer and composer. So the music you hear in the trailer is music he wrote, and it's just gets you pumped up. Everything from the moment you press A at the splash screen to start, the UI sounds and sort of that generating a sci-fi audio language was something I think he had a lot of fun with, and he certainly hit it out of the park. I mean, everything down to the music for each kind of biome that we have within our arenas gets you in the mood. It gets you in this mood of like, it almost has an I'm gonna say esport, but competitive nature to it. And it also matters in terms of the time of the arena, in terms of who's winning and how much time is left on the round timer, because the music will intensify. And then you find yourself getting more tense and just getting really pumped up to go, okay, we're almost on the tail end of this match. Yeah. Let's make it count.
So the first thing I noticed when I was standing in the main menu was like this odd sound effect. Now I like drum and bass. Yeah, it's one of my favorite music forms. And I kept thinking, why is this reminding me of drum and bass? What is this music? And then it's not drum and bass music. There were certain effects. And then I started paying attention to this and the music and the sounds. And I was like, this is special. And it definitely, Lonely Viper joined us later on for the second time on the Quest. And even he noticed it straight away. He went, dude, who does the music for this? He asked for the soundtracks, basically.
We've had a couple requests for that one. So that's definitely most likely going to be the thing. But yeah, like Shabs was saying, and not only this, but a lot of studios will have like a team of audio people. We have one guy that makes like all of these sounds and puts all of these in place. And he's learned pretty much all of this from he just learned all of this on his own. And thank you. He'll be happy to hear that you said this because he works really hard at it, but he has been, he does an amazing job and everything.
We'll be looking into releasing those tracks for free. I mean, we're really looking into that now. We're talking about it yesterday. And in addition to this, the audio sound effects, I mean, the VFX, the visual effects that happen and the animations and the world effects that occur coming together, especially with haptics. You shoot a wall, you get the rumble, you get the hit on the wall, or an opponent, you get a hit indicator. Yeah. If they have armor, you'll hear the armor on them. So there's an audible notify of you understanding your enemy has armor, so you can't necessarily run and engage him. He might take you out.
So I believe the guy who's done Sorry.
No worries. When the armor breaks, you also get a notify. So then it's clear to you that maybe it's time for you to run up on your opponent because you just made them much more vulnerable by removing that extra armor they had.
So the guys on the music, I think he's a bit of a legend, I believe. He's worked on some really good projects.
Yeah. So the familiarity with the music, not only that, but just the quality bar that he sets with the game's audio. Yeah. Dylan's done music for John Wick. He's done music for other games. His music for John Wick, I think, would be more familiar with most of the viewers is John Wick mode. I mean, there's tracks that I'd listened to before even meeting Dylan and working alongside him.
Oh, wait, you did this? Jesus. Yeah.
Cool. Frank said some other ones. He said John Wick, but he also said some others. I can't remember what they are now. There was something else.
Well, he did all of our music for Firewall.
Yeah, he did all Firewall.
And,
he did ROM.
And he has his own music. So he has his own music line, and his music's just kick-ass. Castlevania is a label that he runs on, and Twin Moons. I'm speaking on behalf of him, but maybe one of these days we can have a session with you guys and talk with him directly.
Zoom has 100. I can have 100 people on it.
No, but yeah, I'm sure.
Put him up here or here. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But it's great to hear, and I think again, the music and sound effects are fantastic, and Dylan works closely with the art team and animation to ensure that when certain elements of the weapon moves, he wants to add audio to it if it's necessary, if it makes sense.
Yeah. I noticed as well, your bullets like de-res as well, I've noticed. So you can almost, obviously you go into VR and you're very much reminded that while you're in that game grid, it's a VR game grid as well, because your shots.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was cool.
When you tap your weapon with the environment, you hear like this like glitchy fizz, because it's not real. That's not a tile or this cool arena spaceship that you're on or whatnot. But when you shoot the walls, you also see it tear apart. The environment tears apart and shows a grid line in there. And you're like, oh, okay. And then it sews itself back up. It heals. So it does remind you that you're in this like meta space of, I'm wearing a VR headset and a helmet within that experience. And I'm in multiple virtual spaces. It's kind of interesting.
It's pretty cool. Someone's actually said in the chat it was nice to bring up the music because it can be such a big part. Now, that's no bullshit, dude. Like, I noticed it, someone else noticed it, and then Lonely come in. And I was like, we're one of the first people to get to try this, and most of us noticed it, which means when it gets out there, a lot of people are going to notice it. They're going to go, damn, this is a real pumping game. It's really cool. I can't believe it.
We love to hear that. And like Shabs was saying, because we don't want to just like give the music. It's really a team effort, and why it really works is because it's all working in conjunction too. Yeah. But like our weapons, like we were talking about earlier, we didn't really get into the design of them, like the way they look, but they're very special, and there's a lot going on that you're not going to notice right at first. Like your ammo counts are kind of built into certain parts on the weapon or parts in your heads-up display or in the reticle, and the team did an amazing job at like once the people that get deep into the game and see every little thing, they're gonna be like, oh my god, this game is crazy. So I just want to give kudos to all of them, and just how like if you look down, they don't look like someone just like slapped together some stuff to make a weapon. We really put compassion and love into like each and every single one, and all of the skins, everything, all of the like different helmets. Like they really worked hard to make these things look cool, and we definitely want to get that across to people too, which is just something.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring it up, because progression's a big part of our experience, right? We're not just an online game where you jump into matches. There's a reason to come back. We have cosmetics, like Frank mentioned, from weapon skins, suit skins for your outfit. And then the real big dogs is the helmets. I mean, the helmets are really what set you apart. And we have some really cool looking helmets that are in the game right now that when you see somebody with that helmet, you're like, oh man, that's
dude,
like,
level 38,
that's legendary.
I think it's level 35 or level 38. I need to get to, because as soon as I was going through the helmets, awesome. I was like, shit, man, that looks amazing. And there was a guy who's got leopard pants. I was like, dude, I need the leopard pants. Yeah.
And what's great too is none of our items are locked behind like a currency or something you have to like earn. You hit a level, you're gonna unlock it. It's yours to use, which is great. Right. And we know people are really gonna love that.
Yeah, excellent stuff.
Yeah, that's where you get the report, right? Like the podium sequence at the end of a match is where you're just, you're told how much experience you made. Did you get more cosmetics through ranking up? And then you can straight up apply it and get back into a match. But it's really going to set yourself apart when you're up on that podium and you're doing your MVP dance. Because believe me, when we're playing and you see your MVP, that MVP is a target for that rematch.
Oh, it feels great too. You're like, oh yeah, I just came out on top. Yeah, you would think like, oh, I don't care, whatever, but then you get it and you're like, yeah, that feels great.
Me and Lonely played far too aggressive. We played far too aggressive. We was going for kills, and we paid for it because
you always got to do objective. Exactly. You want a little mix of both.
We messed up, man. Exactly. We messed up hard the second time. And fair play, F Reality, they played very strategically and done exceptionally well very quickly. They were the thinkers and we were the shooters. So
nice.
Yeah, we got our asses handed.
Yeah, and I mean, there's our leaderboards as well. So there's more to work towards in terms of cosmetics, but your placement in rank.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big part of us, because we're a very we're targeting esport audiences, and I'm hoping that becomes a thing where we're going to expand our leaderboards to facilitate what different kind of rankings we can filter by, and who wants to be the best of which thing.
Yeah, are you going to go
rocket launcher user, or depends on what it is.
Is this going to be like real? Are you thinking about doing tournaments like VR or ML, or I mean, where are you thinking of going with this?
So,
that's a great question. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I was going to say, so starting off, we definitely want to do a lot of really fun community-driven stuff. I mean, like Shabs was saying, we want to push all the esports. We want to get into that. I know from starters, we're definitely going to be doing some like plays of the week. We'll have people sending in clips. We're really excited about sharing all that kind of stuff, people sharing their content. And as we get further on, as we get out of preseason, then we'll start getting into like some really, we have some really cool plans for down the line, which is fun.
Yeah, the game's going to grow. I mean, we're starting at a place where we want, really, like I was saying about like the player association, we want to make a big splash with the launch on Oculus, and then listen to what people like, what they don't like, and really identify through our data what works and what doesn't. It's not always an anecdotal response. We look at that as well as sort of the science of it, and we want to navigate appropriately, because as you're a competitive game, it's do things methodically. Don't try to jump the gun too much. I mean, you don't tune too quickly, right? It's always important that your audience expects what's going to change, and hopefully it's always in the right direction, in the direction that makes the game more fun, more competitive, and adds content for those that invest early on. We're a game where we want to be transparent as we possibly can with our roadmap. And hopefully we release our roadmap out in terms of what's to come. Because there's things to come. I'm telling you that right now, even before we launch. But we do want to get a good reading of the audience's perception of the game, their feelings on it, and take that to what we currently have planned, and compromise a bit and see what we change in order to satisfy the consumer.
Nice. So before I start asking the chat to start posting some questions, we can go through some. Oculus Quest 2. Is there going to be any enhancements for Quest 2 users? Is that too early to ask, or I don't know?
Anything we find with the Oculus 2 headset that we can leverage, we certainly will. And again, as I can be transparent, we'll list that out. Similarly, if there's certain settings that work best, they just cannot impede on the competitive nature. So it can't be something that you are playing on the Quest 2 that you can't get on the Quest 1. It makes you win. So we got to be mindful of that. But certainly anything the Quest 2 has, we want to leverage and make sure there's a balance across all headsets.
So you're trying to, the plan in the future at least at some point, you think, is to take advantage of the higher resolutions of the Quest 2. Not that shouldn't change competitiveness, right? That would just be something that would be taking advantage of the hardware.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And I think we'll be conducting tests like that, and also getting a reading. Quite possibly we can pull guys out of the community to partake in some of our sessions to get an idea of like, oh, do we like it or do you not? And sort of take that as a poll, so to speak.
I mean,
to what you guys were saying, just about Quest 2 out of the gate, we're definitely looking at it, but right now our focus is just on the original Rift S, and Quest 1, just for launch.
Quest
1. After
1.
that, we'll definitely keep you updated. Yeah, Quest 1. But you know what I mean? That's what we want to make sure, that really all the users that are out there right now get the greatest experience, and that's what our team is focused on.
Dude, so like I've got like I don't know, a whatever £1,000 PC. The anti-aliasing on the Quest looked better. I don't know how, but it was really weird. I went into the menu of the Quest, because I played both versions. I was like, this actually looks a bit better. And then obviously when you play the game, I noticed there was probably some less reflections, a few other bits. But what an amazing port. Like, what an amazing... There's nothing missing. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing...
Yeah, no, I'm glad you say that, because we did a lot of A/B testing as well to match characters, lighting, environments, weapon feel. And there are times where we're playtesting on Rift, and then I'm jumping into Quest. And I forgot which one I was in. Now, I know there's certainly differences, but to the point at which they make an impact, they get lost over time, and they kind of go over your head, and you're focusing on the combat and the fun factor.
Yeah, definitely. I think VR has that immersion factor to it, where you could play a game on PS4 and PS4 Pro and probably be more reminded of it while you're playing it. But when you're in VR, I think you get absorbed in the action too much to really notice the bells and whistles as much. It's all more about the gameplay.
We commend our art team, our sound team, and animation for sure, and the engineering team definitely did some wonders when it comes down to how fast and performant it runs on a Quest, and alongside playing competitively on someone who's running off of a Rift connected to their big PC. So
yeah,
you don't feel
kudos to them. I mean,
disadvantaged.
it's incredible to
I was
get
playing
that
on my
game.
Quest, and I know there were some people playing on Rift S and on PC platform for Oculus, and I mean, it felt really good. There was no difference in anything. I didn't feel disadvantaged, and it just ran really fast, and it still felt just as fast, which is really good.
Yeah, I love it.
So GT, you did say like porting it to Quest. One thing that we did is it wasn't like a port. We built this, you know what I mean, for Quest. So like we had the luxury of kind of like having Quest in mind too when we were creating this. So it was that like Shabs said, the engineers did an amazing job like making
it's
this
an absolute hands-on.
It's for Quest, which is great.
Thank you to Doomslight82 for the donation. Thank you ever so much. So guys, if you've got some questions, obviously because the chat's been moving along, if you want to chuck us some questions, one of them's been answered, which I was going to ask was about, can you play this game seated? I believe you said yes, and I said that as well. I thought you could play it seated as well.
One of the questions I saw come up was the handed question. Are you going to have left-handed options as well in the game?
Yes, left-handed is something we actually take seriously too, since we started with VR. Left-handed is supported throughout, and not only that, our emotes. If you're left-handed, our emotes will depict your hand being dominant hand left.
Okay, cool.
I think that's a nice touch that our anim team and engineering team done.
Definitely.
Cool. So from Paradise Decay, he said, tell the guys they did an amazing job with the haptics. He got a really good massage using his Wuja haptic vest.
I was telling the whole team that last night, and they got a kick out of that.
He also asked, is there going to be any chance you add a tutorial for anyone? But there is like a tutorial video, isn't there, or something, when you enter the game or something? Or is there
There's cards, that'll teach you the game mode. But I mean, as you know, a lot of people, when they hop into games, seem to just kind of skip through things and not look at them all the way. But we have, exactly.
I literally did. I was like, let's go. Yeah.
We do have our Zen desk. I mean, we have a forum, a place and location to learn about the game. What does it offer at launch? What kind of questions you guys may have too. So if there are any questions that we can't answer here, there's certainly a link we can send you and your viewers to scroll through.
I was going to say, Frank, I don't know if he's doing the socials for First Contact, but I made them a mod. So if you want, you can put the Solaris channel Twitter on the chat if you want.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it depends. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Jess.
Yeah.
I don't. If she's on talking right now, it could be her.
Someone was earlier, so if you want to add add stuff there, you can do that anytime you want.
Thank you, JT.
Yeah, no. Jeff 4VR. Is there any future where we can control the movement with left hand? Cool, we've got that one. Excellent. So Jeff Bob says bots. What do we do about offline play, for example?
We are an online game.
Yeah,
we don't have current plans to add bots. So
no, that's cool, man. And I was actually answering this question earlier. When it comes to like a game of this size with the Quest user base, it's growing, cross-platform.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be an issue, especially with that team size of 4v4. I think it's not going to be a problem. I think once people play it, that sort of question will not matter. Personally, and
there's a lot of questions I've noticed people have before they play, and then they hop in and they're like, no, never mind, don't even worry about it anymore. Yeah, I get it, which is really cool, and we think a lot of people will see that, and that'll come through.
Yeah, 004XD has asked for the restate, which is tomorrow, and the price. Is there? Have we got prices for regions?
The price is... Frank, have we released the price?
We haven't, but I've been told that we can release it today, so as long as you're okay with it, you can...
It's $24.99.
Nice. $24.99. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, official confirmation. GT, you got it. Right
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
And with that, just expect, like I mentioned, when we release additional arenas and weapons, you get those.
So, they'll all be free.
So no charge.
Oh, well done. Thank you ever so much. Dark Angel says there was a pushback on the release date at some point. He wanted to know during the life of the development. He asked what was like the reason for the delay. Was it fine tweaking? Was there something you weren't happy with that you've now changed? Or
yeah, that's a fair question. We certainly wanted to do more testing in-house, increase our scale for testing. We're a small team, so it's important to note that the game feels big, but we definitely wanted to make a much more stable approach to our launch when it comes to at-scale testing. Because we did not have a closed pre-beta of any kind, we sort of did that in-house. And really it is polish. If the game's not ready, we're the type of studio that's going to not release it, because why would you want to play something that we're not happy with? For us, we have to be happy with it before the consumer sees it, because we don't want to have that reaction to something that we already know, you know?
Yeah.
So for us, for Solaris, is really just making sure that crossplay was good. As you saw from various YouTube clips now, that the side-by-side comparison between Quest and Rift, and you guys saw it, that was an effort to make sure that we just had our best foot forward. So I'm hoping that people have an understanding of that, and what you guys play tomorrow certainly will make that kind of impact. At least that's my hope.
One interesting question that just popped up was about crouching. Is it about button crouching or in real life crouching? What are the options people have for crouching?
Both. So you can press the face button, the
Sweet.
right controller, if you're right-handed, press A to crouch, press A to stand back up, and then also physically crouching. Our character is tracked with the HMD, so you can get into an untethered Quest situation where you crouch and stand up, and your character is doing that.
Getting asked about pre-orders. Is there pre-orders on the Quest, on the Oculus stores? Or is it you just got to wait for it to go live?
I think we only support a coming soon right now, Frank, and you may be able to elaborate.
Yeah, we didn't do pre-orders. I don't know. I know that some people do pre-order, but I think that they do that when it's like a long time out. You're more than welcome to wish list it, but
yeah,
it's going to go live tomorrow, and it's not the biggest download. That's a question that I've been getting for a lot of people. They're very stressed that they're going to have to download some huge giant file. It's not the biggest download on planet Earth, which is good. So you won't. Don't worry about like pre-download or hurting your internet or anything. You'll get in there pretty quick, which is nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a cautious effort on our behalf of making sure our downloads aren't too bloated, because we know Quests, you don't want to take over the entire onboard memory. So
one of the questions, just to touch on the PSVR quickly, I know we are not focusing on PSVR at all today. This is all about the Oculus release. Is cross-platform going to be available for that as well? Like, is it going to be... Is that possible? Is that something that will happen?
The answer to that is yes. But in terms of PlayStation right now, Frank mentioned earlier, we're going to definitely be focused on Oculus.
Yeah.
Build out our ecosystem, and ultimately leads to a better launch for PlayStation. So it's not forgotten. Just Oculus right now.
Yeah, no. To what you were saying, GT, I think he means like cross-play between all of the platforms.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to say about that right now, but it is like it's possible. We just don't. We have nothing to mention, like Shabs said, about PlayStation at the moment. Just don't want anyone to think or go crazy with anything.
But that's why you need
we'll have more information about any sort of crossplay or involvement with PlayStation details.
But that's why you need to follow the socials, because it's going to happen. It's definitely happening.
Exactly. So, we will keep you updated. Yeah. So we're not hiding anything. As soon as we have info we can share, we're excited to share everything we can.
Absolutely. Yeah. I saw in-app purchases. Is there going to be in-app purchases in the game?
Not at launch, in the sense that we want the value is just there. We want to make sure people enjoy the game for what it is, and that also describes how we get out of preseason when we launch additional content. Again, there's free items, and there'll be some items for those that want to invest into the game further and broaden their catalog of helmets and whatnot. So at launch, no microtransactions, and we will be looking at how we handle seasonality content.
Dude, if those cosmetics that are going to be available at launch are anything to go by, I would buy some cosmetics because they look
and that's exactly a good thing you said, GT, is that you're never going to have to feel obligated to in-app purchase. It'll be, you want to support us, you love that skin, you really want to unlock this thing or something there. You're never going to feel at a disadvantage, which is something we want to make sure people know.
Right. If there's any indication from our history, it's that there's no pay to win ever. And we want people to experience everything that we do. We don't want to create we don't want to split our player base. We really just don't. We want to keep people unified and enjoying it. And no options. Options are good.
Yeah, absolutely. Trev VR, he asked for shotguns. I believe there is a shotgun in the game. Midlife says, what have you learned from the success of Firewall that you wanted to bring to Solaris?
That's a great question.
That is a very good question. It's so good that you need to think about it. It's not one of those. I mean, from my point of view, I'm sort of wondering the direction change, because Firewall was like that Call of Duty style, Modern Warfare kind of game. Who was the guy who went, or who was the person who just went, I want to do something in the future. I want to do something about like an Inception VR game. When did that happen and how did that happen?
Our president CEO Hess, he certainly had this vision in his head about taking an environment we haven't necessarily dived into on a multiplayer side of things, and also just sci-fi is something that we all love in the studio. So he wanted to definitely make something that we can leverage the VR headset. I mean, as part of the lore. So he planted that seed, and we certainly tried to cultivate it and help it grow, and that's what Solaris ended up becoming.
Nice.
But the kernel of the idea is still there from the very start of it being a future sport, putting your helmet on to jack into the system. And you'll notice that in when you guys pick it up tomorrow, is that there's a really bitchin' helmet sequence to log in that just gets your blood pumping. You're like, all right, it's happening. We're going.
I just want to point out that bit on the HUD, right? So the only game that I wouldn't say even rivals it actually, but got close was Iron Man VR.
Which is like the greatest compliment ever.
Yeah. So this is no bullshit, dude. Right. So in Iron Man, it's very cool. If anyone's played it, it obviously comes down on your face, and you think, dude, I feel like Iron Man. In your game, I didn't expect to feel that depth of like, and it's weird in VR to say that. It felt like the helmet really, like an infinite space was put on my head.
Like it came online.
And all these dude, that's what it was like. And that's why when I done my video, I was like, I need people to notice this. I need people to notice that there's that bit, and Frank's like, yeah, GT, right, put your helmet on. And I put it on, and I was like, fuck, this is brilliant. It's jumping up right now as we're talking about it. It was excellent. It was really good.
And you know, that to touch on that, I mean, man, I'd love talking about this because so much care goes into that sequence, and it's a variety of individuals. You know, we have a strong engineering team, Dave, our art tech team, Thomas and Sasha, you know, getting the arms to feel the way they do, getting the helmet to be put on, sound effects from Dylan that comes in, and just the knowledge base of our art department and sci-fi from our art director, Jim, and art tech, Sasha. They work really well together. They can take an idea and add their flair to it, their elements. And you see it and you're going, man, I was thinking this, and you just went here.
Yeah.
And I'm just really happy to see this. And I'm curious how the next playtest is going to be, where everybody put the helmet on and we could hear our team just roar over our
the first time it came in, it was so cool. It was like, wait, what was this? It was awesome.
I thought that was really cool. That was really cool.
I think one of the coolest part. Oh, go ahead, Frank.
Please. No, please, BMF, please.
Well, I was just going to say one of the coolest parts about that helmet sequence is the way that it makes you feel from an esports perspective, I think, because I felt like, you jump into some first-person shoot in VR, and it's cool. You go into a lobby and you're chatting with people, but then you just feel like you jump into a map. In this game, it feels like you're heading to a sporting event, and that sporting event exists inside this helmet. So when you put that on, you're literally just jumping into this futuristic world. So you forget really that you've already got a VR headset on. You feel like you're picking it up for the first time. You place it on your head, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm going into this world."
Now after playing Onward tournament and seeing their like system for doing a tournament, this would make an amazing gaming like TV show. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It would like that fly on the wall, third person camera, possibly some commentators. Yeah. You can see that. You know?
They have some great tools, and we certainly we actually really appreciate the different online games that are available on the Quest. Honestly, because it's not a commonplace, and seeing what they can do is always nice to see. Like, oh, look what they're doing. That's awesome. We could do
Dante's
like
done an amazing job.
Yeah, him and his team are just awesome. That game's amazing.
004XD, thank you ever so much for the donation, dude. Thank you very much.
Hey, Zero, thank you.
Yeah, I think that the cool part about this is it's so unique for the Quest, and because it's so fast paced, it really lends itself well to the fact that it's on a standalone platform. Because you obviously have different locomotion options as far as turning. You have click turning, you have smooth turning, but I think physically turning around is the best way to play this game, and having the Quest ability to do that unlocks a totally new level for esports, so you feel more like you're physically there.
Yeah,
Feels
absolutely.
so good. I agree. Yeah, and like to get that like I don't that feeling in game where it's like get turned and you have that like that person quick turns or like to physically do that and whip around and just shoot someone in the face feels so good, and I love it. And
Yeah,
like you guys were saying earlier, jumping off of stuff. I'm really in the camp of I'll see someone below and I just like jumping off and just aiming down as I'm shooting and just like straight shoot down at them. It just feels so great. It's cool and it's fun to feel that at work while we're building something. And I was so happy to hear everybody else because we've been just like sitting, testing, doing this, having fun all the time. And it's so nice to we can't wait till it's in everyone's hands tomorrow and everybody else is having fun.
Tomorrow's going to be epic, you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day.
I've got some people asking in the chat about the exact UK price. I would expect at $25, you're looking at $21.99. That is the figure I'd imagine you'd be roughly aiming for that conversion.
I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying normally from my experience, obviously being in the UK, that is roughly what it comes in at. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, $25, usually around $21.99.
Okay.
And to know that this game is going to evolve and you're going to listen to feedback, as I said, follow those links. Follow them on Twitter. Already we've got people asking, what about clans? What about this stuff? Get in the game, play it, and then leave some feedback. That is
like you were saying, GT. Exactly. Like you, even in the time we want people to learn the maps. We want people to understand the game code. We want people to really get into the game, get the feeling for it, and before you know it, I know more awesome stuff will be here.
Yeah. It was just
from social features to maps to weapons. Expect more. It's just we'll have more details soon. Let's just make a splash at launch and work with you guys to figure out what you guys like. So
it was absolutely amazing. The VR Grid, thank you ever so much for the donation. Yeah, guys, thank you. It's been absolutely amazing having you on today. Unless there's anything you want to add, I think it's been absolutely awesome. I think you've answered a lot of the questions that everyone's had today. I can't think of particularly anything. Matt, can you think of anything we haven't really covered that needs to be covered?
I've been trying to watch the comments, but I think the vast majority of it's been answered for the most part.
Yeah, so if there's anything you think that has been answered, all you got to do is rewind the video, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, this is a very in-depth conversation today. There isn't much I can't think that I would want to add to this. I'm loving this video. I'm just watching the little video in the middle where you're doing different shots on the guy. It looks like you've done a crutch shot, a body shot, a headshot, and as we confirmed earlier, headshots are for the win, aren't they? They are, I guess, they're the highest.
That is for the win. Yeah, and armor is for the win. You know what I mean? You're gonna want to grab some armor. You want to grab some good weapons. You want to get in there, and you're just gonna have a blast. And just to add at the end, we want anyone to feel like they can play this game. That's why we do have a nice comfort options, left, right-handed options. You can sit down, you can jump around like Matt was saying and like I was saying, or you can just relax and play. You know what I mean? We don't want you to feel like you have to do one, have to do the other thing. And that also goes with when you're playing, you just go into the next round. So it's easy to play, it keeps playing, and we just want people to get in the headset and have fun.
It is almost got that. It's got that addictive feeling because, as you said, you haven't really got enough time to think about doing anything else.
Well, you're right in, and it's like countdown 10 seconds. All right, let's go. Yeah, it's nice.
It was like that. It was. I remember thinking I was thinking about something that everyone was like going, sort of slagging each other off or moaning about who didn't do something or we got to get them next time. Then we was back in again. I was like, bloody hell! Like,
just think forward. Yeah, move ahead.
It's awesome.
It is absolutely awesome. But yeah, guys, thank you ever so much for joining us today. It's been absolutely amazing. Shabs,
thank you.
Frank, Mom, PSVR Frank, thank you ever so much for joining us. Thank you to First Contact Entertainment. I think the launch is going to be absolutely awesome tomorrow. I think we're going to do a live stream on the channel as well. For
awesome.
The launch. Yeah, and it'd be an open...
Hey, we'll stop by. Maybe you'll even have something a special surprise or something. We'll figure something out. But,
Easter eggs.
Okay, who knows? People should definitely come and watch the stream though.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
cheers, guys. Excellent. So what we're going to do now,
everybody.
Is sorry, dude. Yeah, thank you, man. What we're going to do now is transition over into our little changeover area, and we'll say goodbye to these two. Thank you ever so much for today.
Bye, gentlemen. Thank you for having us on.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, guys.
Smooches.
Smooch. Frank, give us a come on. Give us a come on, dude.
I mean, come on.
I needed that. Right, that is... And we are back to our normal two-man show. How you doing, guys? I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you ever so much to Frank and Shabs again from First Contact Entertainment for joining us today. That was it was nice, you know. It's the first time me and Matt. Awesome. It was. We haven't had guests on before, have we? Together. No. So that was that's pretty cool. If you like that kind of thing, let us know in the comments. You know, because
it's always fun to talk with the developers of these games, people that are involved with it, because most of them or all of them really are just so passionate about it. And the ability to really pick their brains, and especially like with today's show, they're very passionate about it, but they're also very open to what the community wants to see. So I love seeing that. You know, they really want it to be the best they can be, and they're working with people to do that.
Yeah, that's it. I wasn't, when I spoke to Frank the other day, he was like, "This is like the base game almost. This is where we're starting." And it's going to evolve. So I was like, well, that's something I want to tell people, that at the end of the day, get involved. Do you know what I mean? Give them some feedback. Someone asked about Firewall. I think they've learned a lot from Firewall, personally.
Yeah.
You know, they've got a massive community. Firewall's one of the only games I know of on PSVR that you can definitely get in a match. Like, people are there all the time playing that game. And it was a big hit. You know, there's a lot of people I know that still absolutely love it. How are you in the chat, guys? As you know, normally we do talk to everyone. Scott Merrill, thank you. What's he put? Thank you for the donation, dude. Thanks, guys. Since I figured on $29.99, here is $5 for GT's channel. Oh, man, thank you. That's amazing. Like, I wouldn't, to be honest, if it was a bad game or anything like that, I wouldn't have even had him on. When I played this game, I was like, it was a buzz. It was a real buzz. And I hope everyone feels the same. And by the reactions of like Matt and all the other content creators and stuff, that energy level seemed to be shared. So
no, it was awesome. The sheer excitement of jumping into it is something that Quest doesn't have yet.
Yes.
On this level.
Yes.
So I think it's going to do really big things on the Quest.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, people talk about AAA games and stuff, the presentation, and once again, like we touched on, the music and the sound effects. It's all there. It's all like.
Yeah. Oh, it's all there.
Yeah.
I didn't mention it during the interview because I forgot. But one of the things I like, and I think it might have even come over from Firewall, is the hit sounds when you hit someone, the feedback that the bullets make when they hit somebody. Just the idea of, in a lot of games, you don't necessarily hear the sound of when a bullet hits the enemy, but I like that you get that thud, 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 and then that feedback from that. I just think that's a really cool touch.
I loved the running sound. For some reason, I really loved that. I felt like I was like pelting along these corridors, like it reminded me a bit of Super Metroid back on the SNES. You know, when you done that hyper run or whatever. No, it's before you get the hyper run, to be fair. It's literally just running. Samus has got a really fast pace, and it's almost very similar. It's almost got the same sound of the boots as well.
I like the boost kind of that you know, the run, you push down on the analog stick and you run just like you do in a lot of games.
And you get
I like the
rush effects.
Yes, yeah, and the slide. I like being able to slide. I thought that was really a cool touch too. Just overall, it's just a great game. I think people are going to be excited for it.
I think they are. Yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be good. So into some news, and before Boy Brown goes at me and says, "GT, you forgot the VR news intro. Let's go." And I'll also remember to turn it off, because most of the time if we transition anywhere else, it'll play again. So, yeah, basically my hand has been slapped. So quickly, the reason we are playing the PS5 in the background is because PS5 Game Boost will improve frame rates for PS4 and PSVR games. A new feature called Game Boost, listed on the PlayStation 5 website, promises an improved experience when playing select PS4 and PSVR games on PS5. The feature popped up on the main PlayStation 5 landing page. Towards the bottom, the site says the Game Boost will let you enjoy faster and smoother frame rates on select PS4 and PSVR games. The great news for PSVR owners and users who want to carry their library over to the next generation. Not only is the hardware compatible, but the game should run a lot smoother, perhaps even faster than on PS4 consoles. It's worth noting that the text does say select titles. By the way, I did update this because follow Road to VR and Upload. They're the guys we get a lot of our news from. They then recently updated that to say that there's going to be 99% compatibility rate of PS4 games. So, yeah, dude. Like, that's
just huge
amazing.
For me, because we have a library of, not a ton of them, but we have enough PS4 games, and my son specifically has some because I don't play it as much as I used to. My son has games he really wants to be able to play, and so it makes a big deal knowing that 99% of those games are actually going to hopefully be compatible disc. I'm hoping with the discs that I have.
Yeah, so fun enough, I've gone for the digital version, and I think it's more so because of what I do now. A lot of games I get a game codes and stuff. I can't. What was the last game I bought physical? I don't know. Might have been. I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm not sure. I think it was Shadow of the Colossus, like the remake. But yeah, the other thing is to go a bit more into the PS5 and PSVR is about the camera compatibility. Apparently, there is going to be a new adapter that will be provided for free.
It will be free. Okay, good.
Yeah, so there hasn't been a link put out yet. As soon as there is, we're going to put it in the Discords and put it on our channels, so you'll be able to get that as quick as possible. And also, there's no word if the newer PlayStation camera, which is the PS5 camera, will support the PS4 hardware. To me, it sounds like this is answering that question already. If they're going to make an adapter and ship it for free, that sounds to me like the PS5 camera won't do that.
Yeah, I imagine that's the case. It probably has totally different hardware, and it's not even designed to track the same type of lights. So I imagine that it's probably going to be used for other things, not for VR, for PSVR, at least the original one.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got the notes in front of you? Did you want to take the next thing up?
I'll try it.
I need to find it, though. I think I downloaded it. 1 second. Give me a second. I need to try and find it.
I'll answer one question that somebody asked. It's Captain Chrissy asked if I pre-ordered a PS5, and yes, I finally was able to get a pre-order. It took me forever to get it to work, but I got the disc version.
Yeah, so basically today I went to pre-order my uncle the PS5, and you can't get it now. So thanks to Captain Chrissy and his beautiful wife, I was very lucky. They were uptown at the time, because literally I've got no time. They were uptown and pre-ordered it for me. So yeah, we're pretty cool. We're going to have PlayStation 5 at launch. I might even do like a live stream of picking the thing up, you know. I might even do that just for kicks.
I'm excited for it, honestly, because I don't know. It's been a long time since I've got a new console, because PS4 launch was the last one I got. And that's been quite a few years now.
Yeah. Thank you ever so much. I'm Hot G. He says £5. Thank you ever so much, dude. He says keep up the good work. Thank you ever so much, guys, for all your donations. So let's talk about. I don't know how I'm going to pronounce this.
All right. I'll read it if you want, and I'll try to do my best. I'm going to guess it's Suro.
Do you think it's a silent T? Do you think it's a silent T?
I think so. Or maybe it's a Tesuro.
Tesuro. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll say that. Tesuro, the game of the path, is coming to Oculus Quest, and it supports 8 players who are each given a stone that starts at the edge of the board. Players then take turns placing tiles with paths engraved into them. If a path is placed in front of a stone, the stone must follow it as far as it can go. It'll either come to a halt at the end of the path, or it might direct either back to the edge of the board or into another stone, in which case the stones in question are eliminated. Okay. The aim of the game is to be the last stone standing. It's all set to a lovely little backdrop, which includes a fox stalking past every once in a while.
Okay, I was listening. I was like, "What? A fox? Okay, yeah, no worries." And I think you've got a release date there and a price as well.
Oh yeah, right here. It is coming on October 23rd. Priced at $9.99 US and $7.99, and then it says that's just over a week after the launch of the Oculus Quest 2 on October 13th. So
wow,
I actually didn't even. I just looked it up. I saw something about this the other day, but didn't look at it. I forgot it was even coming out to the Quest.
It's just crazy to think. Do you know what? I think if anyone took the next 2 weeks off work or something. That is a clever thing to do, because we've got I think Star Wars Squadrons is now 8 days away.
Yeah,
is it 8 days? Someone let me know in the chat. I think it's 8 days. Obviously, we've got the Quest 2 coming October 13th. If I get my pre-order in, I really hope that happens. And yeah, we've got The Walking Dead Onslaught.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of shit coming, and like to be fair, and then obviously we've got tomorrow Solaris Offworld Combat. It's like
there's a lot going on.
Rip the wallet. There we go. Yeah, cool. It's crazy. So let's talk about a bit of news as well. Which I've just got rid of. Microsoft acquired Zenimax Media, the parent company of Skyrim VR, Fallout VR, Fallout 4 VR, sorry, Doom VFR, Wolfenstein VR, and Bethesda Works. Head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, announced the news on the Xbox blog today. All of the Bethesda's family studios, including id Software, Arcane, Machine Games, and more, are coming under the Xbox wing. Bethesda is arguably best known for Elder Scrolls series of role-playing games. That isn't to me. But also publishes new entries in famous franchises like Wolfenstein, Doom, and Dishonored. So, Matt, I think you knew the price of this merger. I think merger.
I think it was $7.5 billion. I think.
What the hell? Oh my god!
It's more than Disney paid to buy Star Wars from Lucas. So it is a lot of money.
That's absolutely insane.
It's unbelievable. And I mean, it's a huge thing especially for those with Game Pass. Because look at this library of games that's there now that they can add to Game Pass, and that subscription can get you even more games. It's insane.
What? Christ, that's crazy. That price. What's that going to mean for VR though?
I don't know, but right now Microsoft is not really showing any interest in VR.
No, the fools.
Yeah,
the fools.
So I don't know. I mean, Microsoft has the Windows mixed reality headsets, but they haven't shown any interest in the gaming side for the Xbox or for any of their IPs really to bring VR into the fold. I'm hoping that things like Quest 2 and maybe the G2 and the expansion of overall VR really shows them, you got to get in this game before it's too late. Mm-hmm. And then the money behind the studio like Microsoft and all these the Zenimax media studios can go right into VR. But right now, I don't know what it means. What do you think?
I think we're going to shiss out. I don't think we're going to get any of those VR titles anymore. I just don't. Not until they decide. You know,
which is really unfortunate.
It is. Do you know what though? We're very lucky that the community out there are making those games into VR with mods.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like the Wolfenstein one and the original Doom mod. I mean, it's incredible. I would love to see something like Dishonored be in VR. I love the Dishonored games. Now that they've bought it, that's much less likely, unless they figure out a way to mod the original Dishonored for PC VR or something like that, I guess. And you can play them with the software on the PC, but it's never the same as full VR support.
No, that's right. I just think we're very lucky. And obviously you got Paradise Decay, who was in the chat earlier. He is a massive promoter of Vorpex. And I was a doubter. A real doubter, actually. I was like, no, I'm not paying. Because it's like £30, I think, for the program. And I was like, when it's very hard to go, I've got £30 to waste on something I'm not too sure about. But then you got the Steam refund. So I thought, do you know what? I'll do it. And then I tried Halo. And then I made a video on it. Because I was like, dude, this is actually good. I
have yet to actually try Vorpex. I want to try it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But Boy Brown brought up an interesting point. Carmack may get involved in Doom 3 now that Microsoft has the IP. He said he tweeted out after the merger, after Microsoft bought everything on the planet, it seems like.
They bought everything.
Yeah, it seems like it. He tweeted out that now that it's under Microsoft's wing, maybe he can get involved with some of these IPs based on the fact that he doesn't have any disagreements. Or I can't remember exactly what the tweet was, but essentially it was, it's not under this banner anymore, so they're not angry at me, so maybe I can get back involved with some of these games. So I mean, that would be cool if he could get involved with something like the Doom series again and really push the VR aspect of it. Maybe it could convince Microsoft to at least give it a test run and see what happens. I don't know. I'd love to think that that's the case.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Doomsly82 says, Vorpex is not that great, far from native, and Paradise says depends on what you play, and I was going to say exactly the same thing. Yeah. It does depend what you try. I'd agree. Some of the things on there I didn't get on with, but to play the original Halo in VR for me, and that's the thing. I guess that's what it means. Like, to play the original Halo in VR for me was the price tag done. I was like, excellent. This, you know, if someone said Halo, I mean, we're still waiting for that Halo mod. I think it's Halo Reach is going to be coming.
I think so, yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be better than that, but it was amazing.
It's the one thing to remember about the Vorpex is that it can be very, and I haven't played it, but for everything I've seen, it can be very nausea-inducing if you're not used to playing VR games, because especially some of the cutscenes, because it's not designed to be in VR. So if you've got like a cutscene, was it you that played Vorpex and played the zombie game?
I knew he was going to say that. That wasn't Vorpex actually. That was just a community-made mod. And yes, the game itself was okay. Any cutscene, I was like, this isn't. It's Dying Light in VR.
That's what it was. Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, that was that was amazing when it was amazing, and when it wasn't amazing, it wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
Where was we? Yeah, Midlife, absolutely. Riddick in VR would be incredible. I remember playing on the Xbox. What a fantastic game. I'm on Jesus. PlayStation needs to step up. John Anastas, if you have the Quest 1 and 2 soon, can you play multiplayer games if you are logged into both? I.e., so do you mean on the same profile?
That's probably what he's talking about, and I've had a lot of questions about that. And as it stands, not natively, games can enable that. So if they're running on their own server, so like Cookout, for instance, I believe is one of the games you can play with two players logged into the same game on two different headsets, because they've enabled that, but not natively on the Oculus servers. You can't do that because it's locks you out. It knows one person's playing, so it's not going to natively let you do that.
That's awesome. That is wicked. So what the hell's this? Hold on 1 second. What have I done here? Unless this is an ultra wide video, so please forgive me. So Half-Life Alyx mod, the opening chapter of Half-Life 2 point insertion is one of the most memorable gaming experiences of all time. I absolutely agree with that. And soon with Project 17, you should be able to play it in VR. Project 17 was announced last week. It's a new Half-Life Alyx mod currently in development that aims to remake the entire opening chapter of Half-Life 2 as a playable VR experience. The announcement came with something, I can't really read that, but from the trailer you can tell it looks amazing. Plus, it's not just the environment it's not just an environment like the Steam VR environments. This is going to be a fully playable game.
Awesome.
So yeah, absolutely amazing. The team does make it clear they aren't rebuilding a VR version of the entire game, stating that currently the community does not have access. That would require to create a truly faithful recreation of Half-Life 2 that is enjoyable for the player. There's no release date for Project 17, but the team says it will be released. Well, you just got to wait for it to bake, basically, under its own steam.
Excited for that, because the opening sequence in the first chapter of Half-Life 2 is one of the most memorable things that I've ever played in regular gaming. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember being quite freaked out by it, to be honest. Like being in that train, waking up on that train station, and you know what I mean? I was just like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And if any of you haven't checked out the Half-Life Alyx mod section, you need to. There is some amazing community mods going on over there.
It's growing like crazy too.
Yeah, I've only done one video on it just because of time, but yeah, I bet if I jumped in there now, there's so much more. I think I've done GoldenEye. GoldenEye was the one that drew me back in there again. I was like, dude, and that is very good. So let's quickly talk about Matt. Did you want to take the next one about the robotic VR boots? I don't know.
Sure.
There we go.
It's Ecto VR revealed its first product, the Ecto 1, which sounds like it's something from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it does.
It's a pair of robotic boots that the company claims are capable of keeping you in one spot while you walk forwards. There's no simulating walking on the spot or strapping yourself into a VR treadmill. I guess this video is checking it out working with Half-Life Alyx. What do you think about this? I'll keep reading it, but I just want to... Everybody in the chat, let me know what you think about this. The videos are comprised of carbon fiber design. Ecto says is lightweight and uses HTC's Vive tracker pucks to track movement in VR. On the bottom of the device are two rotating plates that can twist to the direction the user is walking in. Once they put their foot on the ground, a set of wheels pulls your leg back while you walk forwards, supposedly giving the sensation of walking, but keeping you in one spot. Brakes are employed when standing Brakes are employed while standing still to make sure you don't slip over as if on a pair of skates. We haven't tried Ecto 1 ourselves, but as with any new VR technology on the scene, safety is one of the top concerns about the kit. In a pre-briefing earlier this month, Ecto CEO Brad Factor assured the system has been through rigorous testing to ensure safety, though we'd have to test it for ourselves to be sure. It also doesn't support running just yet, which is unsurprising given the potential risks.
Well, that's it. I mean, if one of those boots, if you don't get to slide on that boot, you're just going to go absolutely flying into a wall.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, the concept, I suppose, is interesting, but my first thought when I saw that video, I was like, somebody's going to kill themselves with these things.
They look amazing, but they look like your feet are like a size 50 or something.
Yeah,
like, they are.
I know it says it's lightweight, but it's got to be some weight to that.
Yeah, I can't see it not. And the only thing is, it looks amazing. I'd love to try it.
I'd try it.
It would definitely, like someone said about the space, you wouldn't need much space if they do the job they're meant to do.
Yeah. The thing I'd be worried about is the weight and like the safety aspect of it. Like what happens if it doesn't put the brakes on, or something goes wrong with the software, because it's all robotic. The software tells it when to be walking, when not to be walking. So what happens if you get that little glitch and you end up on your face?
Yeah. And do you know what? I mean, from my point of view, the speed is far too slow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you'd have to, there's no way you could play in a game like, for instance, Onward, like you played with the Cyber Shoes. There's no way you'd be able to do that because you literally feel like you're just walking, casually taking a stroll.
In this video right now, this moment, it took him, we must be on half a minute now to get from that halfway point of the roof. He's still going, trying to get to the grate. I'm like, yeah. So, that's the shame. But everything's got to start somewhere. And
oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that there's potential there for sure. It just looks, it doesn't. I don't know. It looks interesting. Let me put it that way.
Yes, we will go with interesting because that is the positive spin on most things. We're not sure about. So where else are we going next? Bit of Facebook news, bit of Oculus news, I think, by the looks of it. I made this morning, I can't remember. Despite the initial Facebook Oculus merge hate, you may have missed the chance to get an Oculus Quest 2 on launch day, as pre-orders from Facebook's new standalone headsets are now backdated on the official site. The first people to pre-order Quest 2 will be getting the headset on October 13th. However, if you're in the US, the estimated delivery now reads November 3rd. Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
It's been pushed back quite a ways now, yeah.
Shit, November 3rd.
And some of the accessories, I believe, are pushed back even farther because I went to order an accessory like an hour afterwards that I hadn't ordered, and I ended up not getting it from the Oculus site because it was like 2 weeks past what the headset was. So it's just kind of building.
Okay, the situation seems a little bit less elsewhere in the UK. The 64 gig version is pushed back to October 20th, while the 256 gig edition delivers October 27th. Meanwhile, some of the other accessories shipping with the device, like the Elite strap, are also now getting pushed back. In fact, the strap won't ship until November 9th. Though that makes sense once you consider it's one of the products that covers both devices. Other retailers are stocking Quest 2. Yeah, so this is off the Oculus site, isn't it? So you're going to be wanting to shop around, look around and stuff. I seem to remember it was a similar thing with the Quest back in the day in the UK, and yet you could pop to the local electronics store. I think it was not PC World, Curry's over here, which is like a mixture. It's an odd name if you don't know anything about them, because you're like, what's that got to do with tech? But they had them in stock. Yeah.
I know quite a few people that have decided to just wait and not pre-order, and they're going to go over to their local electronics store, like a Best Buy here, that would have it the day it releases. Or some people, like Amazon, I looked earlier, and I think Amazon might actually have some in stock still, in the US anyways. They had some that were, right here, released on October 13th, although I believe Amazon did put a notice out that even though they're saying October 13th, it's possible some dates will be pushed back depending on the amount of orders that they get.
They just want that pre-order. Give us the pre-order. Cool. Did you want to take the next one, Matt?
Yep. Let me pull it back up. Where are we at here? Beat Saber. Okay, Beat Saber PSVR multiplayer delay. So as you know, according to Facebook Connect last week, we heard about Beat Saber multiplayer, which will be very interesting. Following the announcement during Facebook Connect, developer Beat Games took to Twitter to note that the PSVR version of the update might not hit October 13th. The developer said it was doing everything we can to make sure we release multiplayer simultaneously on all platforms on October 13th, but there might be a delay with the PS4 version. Please bear with us and check our social media regularly for a new update about PSVR. There's no specific reason was given for the possible delay, but it wouldn't be the first time PSVR players have had to wait a little longer on a Beat Saber update. It could be that Sony's certification process for the PS4 ecosystem is what's holding it up, which seems to happen fairly consistently. Beat Saber multiplayer support will accommodate up to 5 players and give them the chance to make their very own avatars as they compete in tracks. Multiplayer support was first promised a few years back, but prolonged silence had us wondering if the feature might have been shelved. It's not the only Beat Saber news from last week, though. Beat Games also announced a BTS pack that's due to release before the end of the year.
What the hell is a BTS pack thing?
It's a band.
Right, I don't even know what they are, what that is. They look like little animation characters or something.
Yeah.
It's a band.
I don't know anything about it. I think it's a band. I mean, I don't know if it's a band or if it's an artist. I don't know. I assume that's what it was. I didn't look it up. I saw people talking about it. Let me see. People in the chat are going to probably make fun of the fact that I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Dude, I'm happy to back you up there. I've never heard of it. I don't know what it is.
BTS avatars come from Tiny Tan, a project for the band's producer, Big Hit Entertainment. So yeah, it is a band. Okay, good.
Right. Well, that was good. You knew more than I did, dude. That's from a band. So going back to the PlayStation VR thing, I've interviewed developers over the years, and there is a very real thing about the certification process of PlayStation, and that can go down to getting keys for games as well. Like when I used to talk to Honor and Duty developer, I can't remember his name now at the moment, I do apologise. He basically said if your game's in beta, you can push whatever updates you want. But as soon as it goes gold and official, and that certification process there, that Q&A, then you're then bound by Sony. And I can't remember the game this year. Honestly, I cannot remember what it was. But I could not get a key for it because PlayStation basically hadn't given the developers any. And this was after release. So on the release date, you're sitting there and I'm like, if I'm going to have to buy it because I can't cover it otherwise, you know. And I think the keys eventually came maybe 6 days later, and I just gave them away in the Discord because, you know, and I think that was mostly down to the pandemic as well at the moment, not just because of their process. I think it's because of what's going on with the pandemic. You know, people working from home,